Win a Pageant, episode 80. I created this step-by-step process after training thousands of women across the U.S. to win. Now you can have access to these winning strategies when you join me every Wednesday. Let's win a pageant. Hey girl, welcome to another episode of the Win a Pageant podcast. I'm your coach, Alicia Darby. Now, controversial questions are probably the most dreaded of all. Sometimes pageant contestants actually believe that the judges are looking for them to answer the way that the judge wants them to answer, like they're supposed to share the exact same opinion. But you and I both know that that is not true, okay? You know that the judges don't need you to answer exactly the way that they believe, right? And yet, I bet that you still pray that you are never publicly asked how you feel about gay marriage or abortion, especially in the case of rape, and a variety of other controversial questions. Now, that's not how I want you to be, okay? I do not want you to be hoping all the time that you aren't asked difficult questions, okay? Instead, my goal for you is that you will be asked these types of questions so that you are given the power to impact people, to speak hope, to speak joy and life into everyone that you meet. This is a huge opportunity if you do it right. Today, I'm going to give you the simple thing that will eliminate these worries of public humiliation and the catch-22 of controversial questions. Are you ready for it? I'm going to just say it because it's really not that complex. It's your values. Your value system is the remedy to your confusion. Okay? It's that simple. Values draw a line in the sand. They separate the high from the low. Okay? A value is something that you believe is actually worth something. It's valuable. Values are our decision-making guides. They help us choose between left and right, good and bad, up and down. They don't always juxtapose good and bad. So sometimes two goods are very easily compared, and you make a choice based on this good or that good because of your value system, okay? They're just a guide. Your values are guiding you. If you value time with your family more than you value rugged independence, then you'll likely go home for a few weekends from college. But if you value traveling the world more than financial security, then you might blow your savings on a Grecian cruise with your friends, okay? You see what I'm saying here? Sometimes we battle whose values are more valuable than the others. Now that is ridiculous, right? But this is why controversy exists. It's because if I value work and you value education, well, how can we say that one is better than the other, right? It really depends on your value system. Controversial questions are controversial because there are a million ways to look at it and a bunch of different lenses that can shape what we see. So when you answer a question that's controversial, you are putting your values on display. It is the perfect opportunity to showcase who you are at a soul level and to stand up for your beliefs. So when you say something or you do something that goes against your values, that's when you usually feel guilty about it, right? And the same can happen when you are living outside of your values. That's where our guilt comes from. We're guilty if we take an action that isn't aligned with a belief that we have, okay? I want to give you an interesting example that you may be able to relate to. My senior year in college, I was dating this guy who was just into hobbies and people that I was not into, okay? I was noticing that it was actually changing me in a way that I did not like. So I was having that pit of stomach feeling of something's not right about this. This guy, he's a great guy and, more power to him, but this is not me. I don't feel comfortable in this relationship. Now, we'd been together for over a year, so of course it was a shock to him when I did a values list and he was not in my top 5. And I actually broke up with him because of that. And he, of course, asked, oh, why? Why are we breaking up? And I'm like, well, you're not in my top 5 values. So, of course, that was sort of cryptic. And I'm sure his buddies were like, she's such a weirdo, which is totally true because my values were not the same as theirs. And so to them, I was a little bit of a weirdo, right? And boy, oh boy, am I glad I got out when I did, okay? Now, I don't know why I'm telling you all of these gritty little details. The values list. Okay, so What we're going to do is actually create a values list for you, the things that are most important to you, okay? The reason that this is important is because you've got to see, it's so much easier to see like on pen and paper what's really, really important to you. And it's way easier to make decisions in your life once you've identified what those things are, okay? So imagine the things that are important. It could be like some ways of understanding what those are. It might be something that you would pay a lot of money to maintain, or that you would give up whatever is necessary in order to keep it. Okay, so I don't want you to just write down family because you think that you should, okay? I want you to really drill down to understand what it means, whatever it is you're writing down, what does that mean to you? Other areas that you might get your values from are your circle of friends. When you have a circle of friends that are a certain way, that is generally indicative of your values. How you spend your time, your money, all those things are indicators of your value system. In fact, the Bible says, where a man's treasure lies, so too is his heart. So that's just a fancy way of saying that if you spend your money on stuff, it's probably important to you, okay? Or wherever you keep your money, wherever your money goes to is what's important. So maybe look at the last couple of big purchases that you made. Were those a hint at your values, okay? Now, you could start with a very broad list. When I did this for the very first time, I made it very broad. So I was just writing down anything and everything that came to me. And then I prioritized it. So personally, I put number one, like this one's the most important. I started with the bottom. I was like, oh, this one's like the least important. Then this one, then this one. And these three are all kind of, underneath those. And eventually, you work your way to your top 5. That's how I got rid of the college boyfriend, okay? Once you know your values, the next thing you've got to do is actually practice expressing them throughout your life. My husband and I have our relationship values posted in our living room wall. And every month we talk about how our values show up in our lives. So I know these values like the back of my hand. I live them daily. So when any question arises, I'm always anchoring back to these values. And you're going to do the same in your pageant. So if you know what your values are and you live them on a daily basis, then when you get a question that allows you the opportunity to share your values, and of course you're going to do that with respect and speak your own truth, but it's going to be such an incredible opportunity to stand up and speak. Here, I've put a lot of time into my values, and here is what I believe. And that, my dear, is how you win a pageant. The Pageant Interview Masterclass is this weekend. It's Saturday morning on Facebook Live. You can get all of the details at interview.winapageant.com, and I will see you on Saturday. Hey there, I'm Alicia Darby, and I just want to say thank you so much for watching that last video. If you totally loved it and got something from it, would you just click subscribe right here to subscribe to our YouTube channel? Hey, I am here for you, and I've got so many more trainings and videos for you. In fact, this one would be a really great one to watch next. Or if that topic doesn't interest you, then try this one. It's my most recent video training. So I think both of these would be really great for you. Thank you again so much for subscribing. I am honored to be your coach. I'll see you again soon.